So my name is Paul Singh, and I call myself student of happiness. I did 38 years in the government service, 37 years in the government service, and they gave me 1 year of sick leave. I added that up, 38 years. So I retired, and then I wanted to do something that was meaningful to me, because I have an MBA, and all I did was make bucks all day. That's what MBA meant for me, make bucks all day. And I turned all my hobbies into money making. I monetized all my hobbies to where I had like 8-9 streams of income coming in, and I was able to pay off my house in 4 years, and all done. So I said, what do I want to do now? I've got enough money. I don't spend that much money. I drive a regular car. So I said, well, I'm going to go chase happiness. I'm going to find out what happiness is all about, because whatever you focus on in life becomes your reality. So I started doing workshops on Happiness 101 at senior centers, AARP, and different places. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on why happiness is so important and how focus comes into happiness. Okay? So let's talk about happiness. Now let me ask you this. When was the last time you said to yourself, man, I'm so happy? When was the last time you guys said that?
Well, it had been the last couple of years for me, but I'm starting to get in the happy zone.
Okay,
I'm starting to feel pretty happy now.
Feel pretty happy, right? How about give me Lake, give me a name again?
Clara.
Clara, that's Clara.
Rickard.
Liquor?
Rickard.
Rickard.
Like Richard with a cup.
Oh, Rickard.
Yeah.
I heard liquor. I'm like, dude. You're liquored up already. And Chris and
Helen.
Helen, of course. Okay, so let me get this. Helen, Chris, Rickard, Clara, and Lake. Okay, good. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about happiness. So Clara, when was the last time you said to yourself, I'm really happy, this is awesome?
I tell myself that almost every day,
Awesome.
but particularly when I'm on vacation.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, when you're
So
enjoying
over Christmas, I told myself that every day.
it. Okay, good. How about you, Lake?
I don't probably tell myself every day, but over Christmas I was up and pretty happy. So
You-
I don't know.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because see, a lot of people think that that happiness is an event. It's not.
No.
Happiness is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
The truly happy people are not happy because they won the lottery or because their wife didn't cheat on them or because they whatever. They're happy because of their habits. Would you agree? It's because their habits they're happy. Like for instance, I have a habit of arriving early. It gives me peace of mind. I can listen to my tunes, and if I'm lost like I was, I'm still in time. So that's a habit. Being prompt, being punctual is a habit. So there's so many other habits that happy people have that if we adopt those, our happiness level goes up. And one of the habits that happy people have is their ability to focus, right? And that's how I tie it in. So here's the problem I had growing up with education. I have an MBA, and I got that from Shark Tank. Just kidding. Actually, to be honest with you, I learned more from the Shark Tank than doing the spreadsheets in my MBA. I really do. Because
Have you watched The Profit?
The
Yeah,
profit?
that's interesting.
The TV show The Profit?
No, is it?
It's even more educational
Oh, good.
than
Yeah.
Shark Tank.
I'm gonna
I will
start
send
watching
you
it.
a link to it. It's great.
So whatever I used, and what I did with my MBA was I turned it into make bucks all day, and I was monetizing all my hobbies, all my passions, and having tons of money. So then I said, okay, whatever I did with my MBA to make money, I'm going to use the same knowledge to create more happiness for myself. So I started studying happiness. Now, the biggest problem I have with education is that they teach you too many things that are not necessary, that you'll never use. For instance, I did 2 years of calculus. I was a master in calculus. Never used it. But what a waste.
Yeah.
Okay? And whatever they do teach you that's usable, you write it in the notebook and you never look at it. So it's not in your brain, you never use it. So if I was to ask myself, what did I study, what did I learn in 18 years of studying to MBA? I couldn't talk for 18 minutes without running out. I'd run out in 5 minutes because I didn't retain anything. And secondly, the information was so unusable for me. Okay? So I wanted to change that. So I want to talk about things that we are going to use, like happiness is something we're going to use. And I'm going to show you how you can remember it. Okay? So we're going to play a little game. It's going to take about 5 minutes. And we're going to talk about habits of happy people. Okay? Now, you guys are all in one team. I'm alone. Okay? So you will tell me, all 5 of you will tell me one habit and I'll match one habit. Then you'll tell me one habit and I'll match. But you're 5 people, I'm alone. Okay? So let's see who wins. Okay? So I'll start. One of the habits of happy people is they're humble. Right? Humble. So you tell me a habit of happy person.
Gratefulness.
Gratefulness. Very good. Appreciate it. They're appreciative. Appreciative. I'm a bad speller, so please forgive me. Okay, go ahead. Okay, my turn. They're honest. They're usually pretty honest, right? Go ahead.
They're helpful.
They're helpful. Beautiful. They're helpful. Okay. I'll change this pen real quick. Go ahead. Oh, okay, my turn. They're attentive. Happy people are usually attentive when you're talking to them. They're not looking at their phone and, they're looking you in the eye, kind of paying attention to you.
Optimistic.
They're optimistic, beautiful. Let's call them positive, and I'll tell you why I'm using this word instead of optimistic. I'll tie it up for you. But it's the same word, right? Optimistic, positive. Okay, my turn. They have a purpose in life, right? They're purposeful.
They are generous.
They're generous, helpful,
Yeah, you can also then say giving
giving. They're
Of
generous, selfless,
Service.
of
Services.
themselves.
Yeah, selfless maybe, yeah.
selfless.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I'm using these words over the words that you're
Yeah.
using, but they're same meaning. Okay, my turn. They turn their problems into a gift. If you can turn your problems into a gift, I guarantee you'll be happy, right? Someone call it P to G, problem to gift. Okay? I'm an abbreviation kind of guy. Your turn. 5 people, I'm alone.
They, I mean, that's what you just said. Like, they would look at something and they would, some people would see that as a negative thing.
Problem, but they
would,
turn it into a gift. Positive. They're positive.
What about just being, present, mindful?
They're in the moment.
In the moment,
Yeah.
exactly.
In the moment. Yes. Beautiful. I love that.
I would also say, oh, it's your turn.
My turn. Okay, they're interesting.
Yep.
Okay, now your turn.
Yeah, you can.
Confident.
They're confident. Yeah, they're confident. Okay, so that's a C word. I want to use. Okay, let's call it confident. That's fine. They're self-assured. Self-assured.
Zoom out here.
Would that be same? Self-assured.
Sure.
Okay. Happy people are usually pretty simple people.
Yeah.
Okay. Your turn. Come on, 5 against 1.
Friendly.
They're friendly. They're social.
Social.
My turn. Okay, they are stable mood. Happy people, you don't see them. They're emotionally intelligent. Let's call it emotionally intelligent. Okay. So I'm gonna call it EI. We all know EI, emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, we use it.
Okay. Okay, your turn.
Something around building relationships. Is that social? Is
Right,
that-
that's social.
Okay.
Social interaction. Social, yeah. Okay, so what else?
They trust other people.
They're trusting.
Yeah.
They're trusting. Okay, let me. No, trusting is a good word. They're usually pretty trusting. I like that. Trusting. I'll buy that. But I'm gonna come up with a different word for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are. They're assertive. Happy people will stand their ground. They're assertive. They're not gonna be a pushover, because you won't be happy if people keep pushing you over.
Yeah.
So they're assertive. And that also becomes confident right here too. Okay, so now your turn.
I would also say that they follow their heart, or they
They make good decisions.
like
Right.
they have some sort of inner guidance maybe, or
Gut feeling.
yeah.
Gut feeling.
Yeah.
They're okay. So let's see. Gut feeling. Okay. Intuitive.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Intuitive.
That's a good
They're
one.
intuitive. That's the first time I've used this word. See, every time I do this, I learn so much. Intuitive. Okay.
Right, your turn.
Oh, my turn. Okay. They have good phone manners.
I
Yes.
don't know.
You know why I'm saying this? Because when you don't have good phone manners, you're getting into accidents, you're messing up things, you look like crap. They have good phone manners. I made that up,
Mhm.
but it's an observation. It's not
Is it different from in the moment?
Yeah, phone manners. Phone manners meaning like if here's my phone manners. If I have a real life person sitting next to me, I don't usually go to my phone because for entertainment. I'll pick their brain first and find out what they know
Yeah.
before I will. Because phone's only $200. A human being is $1 billion human being.
Mhm.
Think about it. So why would I make a bad decision of looking at my phone versus, Okay, so you get the point. Okay, you get the point. Now, there's one more. My turn? No, it's your turn.
I think they are people who do not worry.
Yes. So they do not worry. So let's call that carefree. They're peaceful.
yeah.
Peaceful?
Calm.
Peaceful? Would you say peaceful? They're
Or
peaceful.
like lighthearted.
Peaceful. Yeah. They're humorous.
Yeah.
They have humor. They'll joke around a lot. Right? Okay. Okay. So my turn again. You guys gave me two. Okay. So humble, honest, helpful, assertive, attentive, appreciative. They exercise. Happy people usually have some kind of an exercise program in their life, whether it's going to the gym or just walking or just doing something.
What about resourcefulness?
They're resourceful, yeah, which is helpful.
Very
Which
good,
is
yeah.
helpful. They're resourceful.
What,
They're
what I mean is that they're not putting their problems on other people. They're finding
self-sufficient.
self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. Okay.
That's good.
So selfless, self-sufficient, independent.
Independent,
Call it
even better.
independent. I like that
Yeah.
word better. Independent. Okay, independent. Okay. All right. They're purposeful, peaceful, phone manners. They're playful.
Playful, yeah, that's a good one.
Happy people are playful. Okay. All right. So I've covered pretty much everything. Now, if you know these and if you adopt some of these habits, do you think you'll be happier? All day long.
Yeah.
All day long. Okay, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's like if McDonald's only had one franchise, they only got money coming in from one. But if you got 35 franchises, you got money coming in from 35. And that's the same way. The more franchises you have, habits you have, are franchises, kind of like your franchises. The more happiness you're gonna have. Okay? You make friends everywhere. You won't have. I'm never afraid of going anywhere alone. People go, "Are you gonna go alone?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Won't you be alone? Like bored?" No, I'm gonna make new friends. Who won't judge me. So anyhow, so this is the reason I started doing Happiness 101, because every once in a while somebody will tell me something that I didn't know, that I wasn't using like intuitive. And the idea of teaching like this is because in the regular teaching, the teacher knows 10% more than you, and that's why everybody's yawning. But here, it's interactive. I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. Okay, and that's the best part. So it never gets boring for me, it keeps growing. Okay? So now let's go back to why focus is so important. Let me ask you this: for every decision that you want to make, what's one thing you need? What's one thing you really need to make a good
To
decision?
make a decision?
The ability to make the decision.
The ability to make the decision, the focus. Right? You gotta focus to make a decision. Have you seen people who make decisions without focusing properly, or they're on their phone, and what kind of decisions they make? They're making wrong turns, they're getting yelled at, people are honking at them. That's not a good decision, right? When people are honking at them. So to make a good decision, you really have to know how to focus. Now, we've all had higher education. I'm sure you all have college degrees, because otherwise we won't be sitting in such a nice office. Did you guys ever take a class in focus?
No.
Even 5 minutes of focus. And yet, all our life people told us, "Hey, you need to focus. You need to focus. You don't know focus. You're not attentive. You're not paying attention. You need to focus." But we never got 5 minutes of training in focus. And today, what I'm going to share with you is how to focus properly. And I guarantee you one thing: once you grasp that fundamental, you will have razor sharp focus. Because I've tested it. I've tested it in table tennis matches. I've tested this in golf games, and it's right on the money. I play golf for money. We putt for money, $1 a putt. Okay, and it might sound like, oh, no big deal, but when you're putting and there's $1 on the line, if you miss it, trust me, you learn to focus real quick. And when I started applying these fundamentals that I learned from everybody by doing this workshop, my focus was right on the money, and my winnings were like tremendous. So I know this works. So let's talk about focus now. So you got pretty much have this. Okay, so how do we remember all this? What I did is I used all the words that start with a letter that's within this word, happiness. Or I tried to.
Oh.
Okay, so and it's called acronym loading. You know how people have acronyms, like they only put one word to a letter? Why one? I load it. Load the acronym. It's called acronym loading. You can put, like, with H you can have humor, honesty, humble, helpful, all those. And then with A, attentive, appreciative, assertive, with P, purposeful, peaceful, playful, with I, in the moment, interesting, with N, we never did anything with N, but it's neat and organized and non-judgmental. Happy people are non-judgmental. You will never see a happy person going, did you see what she's wearing? Oh my God! She's not happy. I'm not kidding you. So if you catch yourself being judgmental, remember, that's not a good trait. So you don't want to be judgmental. You can be judgmental if you're going to help somebody. Like if I'm going to critique you, it should be with the intention that I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and learning bad stuff. Because when you judge somebody else, you're inheriting their habits because you're acknowledging them. It's getting big for you. So N stands for non-judgmental and neat and organized. And a lot of people will say, well, neat and organized is not necessarily a must for happy people. You're right, it's not. But picture this. Let's say it's now what, 12 o'clock? What time is it, 12:30?
12:47.
12:47. Let's say I have an appointment at 1 o'clock in DC, and it takes me 10 minutes to get there, or 15 minutes to get there. And I'm a slob, I put every stuff everywhere. And now I go to look for my keys, and I can't find my keys. Okay? And it takes 15 minutes to get to DC, and I only got 15 minutes, but I can't find my keys. So I spend 10 minutes looking for my keys, and I finally find them. How am I going to be? What's gonna be my state? Frustrated. How am I going to be driving? Crazy. A ticket, accident, very high possibility. Cutting people off the road. Okay, make some enemies along the way. What's going to be my state now? Pretty miserable. And if I have to go give a lecture, and I walk in there all, like pissed off, how's that going to go out? So even though neat and organized is not necessarily a habit that you have to have, but it comes in real handy. It comes in very handy. Okay, so one of the reasons I don't give any handouts is because I want you guys to keep this in your random access memory. Just remember the word happiness and start making up words with these that become habits, that are habits for happy people, and you'll get all these out. Okay. Now, if I didn't have this in my back of my head, I would never be able to compete with five people. So just by acronym loading, I can compete with 5 people. So my retention has gone up 5 times. Okay, that's one of the reasons I use this, because most of the time teachers will never tell you this in school. They just want you to memorize and take the test and forget it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to erase this, and we're going to talk about focus. Are you guys? Okay. All right. Okay, focus. So let's talk about focus. Why is focus so important? Why is focus so important?
Keeps us disciplined.
Keeps us disciplined.
Yeah, to get things done, yeah.
Keeps us productive. Keeps us from getting killed. Right? Because if you don't focus on that road, you will get killed. When you're making a wrong left turn, keeps us safe, keeps us alive. Anything that we do that's got any kind of a decision you make, we need to focus. And what happens when you make good decisions all the time? Does your happiness go up or go down? Up. And when you make lousy decisions, your happiness go down. So basically what really matters is how much focused you are to make a good decision. If you're focused,
But you can learn from your mistakes. I'm not 100%.
Absolutely. You can learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
But if that's all you do is make mistakes and never a good, right thing, then eventually your self-confidence will go
You
down.
have to learn from them, yeah.
So, 1 or 2% mistakes, yes, you can learn from it and grow from it. But most of the times you want to be able to focus and make a good decision. So focus is very crucial. Okay, we all know focus is very crucial. Now let's talk about what are some of the professionals that we know that have to focus. They can't be on their cell phone. They can't be doing other
Doctors.
bingo. Surgeon. Let's call them surgeons.
Brain surgeon.
Brain surgeon.
Race car drivers.
Any surgeon,
Yeah.
but brain surgeon. Let's call them surgeons. Okay. So that's one surgeon. Who else? What other professionals really have to focus, or else?
Athletes, race car drivers.
Athletes. Athletes. Yeah.
Lawyers.
Race car drivers. Let's call them athletes. Okay. Athletes. Okay.
I would say actually all professions need to focus because otherwise how are you going to do your job?
Well, yes,
Or am I
but
completely off?
what professionals have to focus so hard that's very critical, like a pilot when he's taking off for landing,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes,
There's
that's
consequences,
forcing you
right?
to.
Yeah, okay.
right?
I see
Okay,
what you
a
mean.
pilot.
Yeah.
But for instance, you know, if you're working at McDonald's and you're cooking fries, yeah, you need to focus as a timer. But if there's 5 minutes, you can kind of chill, you know. But even they have to focus, or else they get burnt. So let's go with pilots. Okay, race car drivers, athletes, surgeons, pilots.
I would throw something a little bit outside of the professional field with parents. If you have a young infant and you're not paying attention, some bad things can happen.
Bingo, exactly. Parents, beautiful. Okay, so let's see how these people focus. Okay, let's see how these people focus. For instance, surgeon. How does a surgeon focus? Have you ever seen like the videos of surgery room? Okay. Now, I had a knee operation, but like if they're operating on your knee or your elbow, what do? They take a blanket or they take a sheet, cover your whole body, and just leave the part that they're gonna operate on.
Yeah.
Why do you think they do that?
They just want me to see
Exactly.
what
They want to narrow that field of focus so they don't go, oh look, you got a pimple here too. Let me get that. Forget the knee. In the meantime, the anesthesia wears off. Or hey, wait a minute, did you see this blackhead? You know? So they want to narrow the focus, right? That's one thing. So it's called the frame of focus. They define the frame of focus. Kind of like a director or a producer in the movie. They frame that focus. Things could be happening all over the place, but as long as that frame is good, life is good. So they define the frame of focus, okay? So let's put that here. Frame is very important. Frame of focus. The narrower your frame of focus is, the more focused you'll be, right? Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while you're focusing, let's say a surgeon is doing surgery. While he's doing surgery, what kind of thoughts should be running in his head?
Only
Gee, I wonder what my
what
wife's
he's doing.
Gee, why is she not answering the phone? Those thoughts? No, right? Okay, so how long is this anesthesia gonna last? How old is this patient? All the pertinent thoughts, right? All the thoughts that are pertinent to that surgery should be running in his head. Okay? So find the right thoughts. Okay? For instance, if you're playing golf, like if I'm playing golf, or if I'm an athlete and I'm gonna putt, what should be my thoughts while I'm about to strike that ball?
You're seeing it go in the hole.
You want to see it go in the hole. You want to see if there's any kind of elevations or any kind of different changes in the ground that's going to turn the ball. All the pertinent thought around that golf, right? But any thought about, what about a thought, like how they say a positive thought? What about a positive thought? Man, if I make this putt, oh, this girl's going to be so impressed.
That's not focused.
That's not
No.
focused. Even though it's a positive thought. So it's not the positive thoughts we need, it's the correct thought. We have to have the correct thought. See, to be properly focused, your actions and your thoughts have to be congruent. And nobody tells us that, right? We've never heard that before, but it's so important. So find the right thought. Okay, so you have to analyze and find the right thoughts. For instance, when I'm playing table tennis with people and they're very good, my frame of focus is their racket, the way they're holding it, and the way they're holding the ball. That's my focus. I could care less if they got a snot coming out of their nose, because I'm not even looking at it. My frame of focus is that. Okay? And what are my correct thoughts? Is he left-handed? Is he right-handed? Is he gonna hit the shot? What's he gonna do? Those are my thoughts. Not, you know what? I hate this guy, or whatever. See what I'm saying? So the congruent thoughts. Okay. So that's one thing. Okay. So another thing that you need to focus properly is you want to do one thing at a time. Okay, a lot of people multitask and that's where we screw up. So you want to do one thing at a time. Okay, so one thing at a time. So if you're about to putt, don't be checking your phone to putt. I take my phone, I put it far away, and I turn the ringer off. My opponents keep the phone in their pocket. I love it. I don't tell them this because the minute their phone rings, I'm putting and they're lost, because all of a sudden the emotions take their thoughts away,
Mm.
and I win. But I never tell them that on the putting green. Because you gotta keep the edge. Okay, so you wanna do one thing at a time. Would you agree? One thing at a time.
Yes.
Okay, another thing you wanna do is, you wanna be in the moment. You wanna be in the moment. So if you're doing something, like for instance, I'll keep going back to golf or table tennis, is because I can give you a concrete, example. So like, when I say in the moment, all your 5 senses have to be here and now, okay? For instance, right now, I'm holding the pen, so my touch is the pen. I'm tasting that pot belly, that food that we had, that was good, the soup. I'm watching you guys, looking at me, I'm watching that chocolate, and I'm resisting it. But I'm all here, okay, I'm all here. So, and we call that own the experience. You take the ownership of the experience, okay? So own the experience. And I'll tie it for you in a way that you'll remember for the rest of your life. You won't need notes. I'll tie it for you. Okay. Now, has anybody flown in a small plane?
Yeah.
A private pilot plane?
Yeah.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. Good. You have to?
Not a private one,
But a small one.
Yeah.
Have you noticed what a pilot does before he gets in the plane?
He checks, make sure the wings are on, the
Yeah.
propeller's working, the tires are on.
Does he have a little sheet that he follows?
I generally
A
have
checklist, it's called a checklist. Okay? He has a checklist. He could be flying the same plane for 30 years. He will still go through the checklist. A good pilot will. Okay? He will go through the checklist. That's what you want to do. You want to have a checklist. Checklist of things that are important. Okay? For instance, you've been given a task to do something. You want to start creating a checklist so that you always stay in the checklist and you don't wander off. Your mind doesn't wander off. Even a surgeon, he'll say, okay, BP, good. Anesthesia, good. Patient diabetes, whatever, it's a checklist. They go through the checklist. And they could have done 100 surgeries in a day, but they'll always follow the checklist. So that's one thing you want to do is have a checklist. Okay? Anything else you can think of? And I've got more, but I want to see if you guys can think of anything else that helps you focus.
Find a space where you're not going to be easily distracted.
Okay?
It's hard to focus if you
So
have a
solitude, yeah. Find it.
it's so
Appropriate.
when we talk about surgeons, one of the things I've seen with my own surgeries and others is sometimes they play music, and that somehow allows people to be more focused.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's solitude, but there's some things that allow you to be.
Everybody
more,
has a different way
exactly.
of being in the zone.
In the zone, exactly.
Yeah,
Finding your way to get in the zone. And sometimes you need
so
to
be in the zone. Okay, so let's put that down, zone. Okay, now one thing you want to do when you're totally focused is you want to give it undivided attention. Okay, you want to give it undivided attention, which means cell phone away. Depends on how critical things are. Put cell phone away, give it undivided attention. U is undivided attention. Okay. So what happens is, and does anybody have a passion or a hobby? Who has a passion
I
or a
like
hobby?
ping pong or table tennis.
You do? Okay, awesome. Do you have anybody a musician? Anybody play music? Any instrument? No. Okay. When you're playing table tennis, do you give it undivided attention? Do you you don't worry about the phone or anything, right? Yeah, me too. I put the phone away because it's so distracting. So I put the phone away, I turn it off, and so give it undivided attention. Okay, and finally, when you do all these things, you're going to be so focused that you need to worry about your safety. Sometimes how people can be so focused on one thing, they get run by a truck.
Yeah.
So that finally you want to be safe and know your surroundings. And surroundings also is the zone, where you went. Okay, so if you notice the words that I use, have you noticed one thing with the words? They all start with what letters?
It's focus.
Focus. So frame and bright thoughts, one thing at a time, own the experience, checklist, undivided attention, and safety and surroundings. And so this way you never have to look at your notes, you just remember the word focus, and you'll see that they all come back to you. And even if nothing else comes back to you, if these two things come back to you, you're set. Because half the time, we don't have the right thoughts. We might be looking at the right thing, but we're thinking something else. And so as soon as you see yourself drifting, you say to yourself, what are the right thoughts right now? What are the thoughts I should be thinking about? And those thoughts also become your checklist. Okay. So once you start focusing, you'll see that you make awesome decisions. You'll make fantastic decisions. You will never have to go back and regret on it because you were right there and, you know, and all that. So that's how we focus. Is everybody clear? Do you guys have any questions? Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a task, a very tedious task, and run it through the test of this, just to see that it works. Okay, so give me a task that's very tedious and not some paperwork, something very difficult that you have to accomplish.
Keeping up negative response tracking.
Yeah.
Keep up.
So we, on projects, when we're calling candidates who aren't interested, we keep track of negative responses or people who say no.
Okay.
So we're recruiting, we're actively soliciting people
Companies?
and individuals, candidates,
Okay.
to recruit for our clients.
Okay.
And one of the things we do is we record, you know, how is the person being contacted, whether through advertisement or search, who's actually responding to the solicitation, and what is the reason they're not moving forward.
I see.
Salary's too low, don't like the job. And then generally the best practice is to give that update to the client on a periodic basis throughout the recruitment cycle.
I see.
So it's kind of a recording
A
of what
negative
you've
negative
done.
tracking, negative, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, how would we do that? So what would be a frame of focus at that point? This is done over the phone?
No, it's, yeah, we usually do it through email, LinkedIn. Most of it's being emails.
Email, okay, so it's not person to
There
person.
is, at times.
Let's
you
take
can-
person to person.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take person to person.
Yeah, that's what we
Because-
would prefer,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the better feedback anyway. So if you talk to someone, they tell you, oh, I know that company, I don't like them, or salary's too low, or whatever the
Okay.
response is.
Okay, so let's say that we have one person that we're tracking negative thoughts and see what they're saying, right?
Mhm.
So what would be a frame? Our frame of focus would be that person.
Yeah.
Okay, the way he's sitting, the way he's